I do, but is that better? All right, I will move that up. I apologize for that. All right, we'll move on to the resolutions. Request to approve road cut on 96th Street to pothole utilities for CenturyLink. Wouldn't be a Board of Works meeting without a curb cut or road cut. Jason, you're up. Mackey's up. 96th Street.
For the record, I'm Tim Mackey, Assistant Director of Engineering. Before you have a request to approve a curb cut on 96th Street. The location of this curb cut is roughly 96th Street and the intersection of Meyer and Walmart Drive. We've received permits from JDH, which is the contractor, to to pothole a gas line and a water line that's running parallel to 96th Street in the roadway. So they are crossing these two, so they requested a pothole for these two locations. They also came back last week and requested another pothole location east of 96th Street, east of that intersection, for another communication line. We worked with them to reduce the amount of potholing in that location, and we were able to consolidate these two requests and make them into one request and have them both go on the west side of that intersection, and also have a 3-year maintenance bond for these potholes. We've also requested that they provide SMA instead of HMA for those locations. And I'm happy to answer questions.
Maintenance traffic scenario for this?
Maintenance of traffic will be at night. 96th Street will be reduced to one lane on the eastbound, just because of the location of that gas line, and then the westbound will have to reduce it by one lane just because of the location of that water line as well. So they will be able to do that at night and not impact a lot of traffic.
Any additional questions for Mackey?
No.
Seeing none, is there a motion?
So moved.
Is there a second?
Second.
Motion by Jason, second by Jeff. All in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Motion carries. Thank you, Mackey. I assume this next one might be you as well.
Mm-hmm.
It's a request for a $0 fee proposal for additional services.
Yes, again, for the record, Tim Mackey, Assistant Director of Engineering, and before you is a $0 fee proposal for additional services, and this is only for American Structure Point, which is the prime, in addition to VS, CDM Smith, and also WSP. This does not include United's supplemental. As you are aware, American Structure Point was responsible for the design of 126 and 131st Street intersections. They are the prime, and United, a major sub of theirs, is responsible for 135th, 141st, and 146th Street design. In this proposal, they are requesting to shift some money that is available in the project design contract from landscaping scope that we reduced, also from right-of-way that we did not have to use a lot of the right-of-way fees, and move that into the construction phases, and also in a phase on 131st Street that we added some additional scope on the construction side in 126th Street intersection. This has no increase on the total fee for the project. We've worked with American Structure Point. They've been very responsive. They've submitted this proposal to us a couple of months ago. We've worked with them during these months to make sure that we're both on the same page and we're getting what we were told that we were going to get and what we asked for.
Any questions for Mackey? Seeing none, is there a motion to approve?
Motion.
Motion by Jeff, is there a second?
Second.
Second by Jason. All in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Motion carries.
Thank you.
If we could have every proposal be $0, that'd be awesome. If you could do that from now on.
We'll try.
Yeah, thanks.
Thank you.
Next up is Tabitha with a request to approve the purchase of 5 new 3500 HD crew cab flatbed trucks.
Good morning, Tabitha Miller with Fleet Management, requesting the board's approval to purchase 5 3500 flatbed trucks for the Department of Public Works. Hurlinger Chevrolet was the lowest responding bid for these trucks.
Any questions for Tabitha?
No.
Seeing none, is there a motion to approve?
Motion.
Motion by Jeff, is there a second?
Second.
Second by Jason. All in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Motion carries. Thank you, Tabitha.
Thank you.
Next is a resolution certifying the Fishers Fire Department's appointments to the City of Fishers Fire Merit Commission. Chris, can you just explain the logistics of
absolutely.
this?
So every few years, as the board probably recalls, the fire department members select 2 members of their merit commission. 2 are elected by the firefighters themselves. They have to be bipartisan appointments. Selection was delayed just a little bit because of COVID, but the firefighters recently completed their elections and re-elected the members that are before you right now. So we're bringing the resolution to you as the final step to certify the election.
Any questions for Chris on this?
No.
Seeing none, is there a motion to approve?
So moved.
Motion by Jason, is there a second?
Second.
Second by Jeff, all in favor, please say aye. Aye. Motion carries. Next, we will move on to a request to approve resolution declaring certain city property as surplus.
Tabitha snuck out.
That was-
I can do this anyways. It's, for the record, Chris Greisel, the 2 items that are listed before you are items that are being surplused with the potential to trade it in at a future date. So first step in the process is bringing this before the board to surplus these items. Happy to answer any other questions.
If there are no other questions, is there a motion to approve?
Motion approved.
Motion by Jeff, is there a second?
Second.
Second by Jason, all in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Motion carries. We will now move on to the 5G cell tower portion of the Board of Works meeting. So for those residents here today, I appreciate your patience as we work through some of the logistics of the earlier agenda items. We will start off with item 10, which is a request to approve residential waiver to install a small cell facility in the Northfield Estates neighborhood. Jason?
Good morning. For the record, Jason Taylor, Director of Engineering. Unfortunately, you're stuck with me this morning instead of Tammy. But the first one is for Northfield Estates, as you had stated. The city staff had tried to coordinate with the neighborhood, but was unable to set up the standard meeting that we do with them, Verizon, and ourselves. There was one comment that a resident had sent in, and it was sent along to Verizon for review, but to be able to be addressed, it was relocated from, the request was that it would be relocated towards the pond. It was not relocated there, but rather to the intersection, close to the pond. And just Friday evening, we received a comment from the resident who actually lives across from the one at Brighton intersection, which
So is this,
is,
I'm sorry, Jason, is this 10-660 or 10-723 that we're talking about here?
10-7-23.
Okay.
And then that was the pond, the 10-660 Sherborne Road. That's the one at the intersection. Oh, my apologies. The 10-660 Sherborne was the one that was relocated. It was requested to go to the pond. It went to the intersection. You can see in the map on the second page, it shows the blue dot and then the yellow square. The yellow square is the new proposed location. The resident directly across from that on the north side of that has sent an email in Friday against this particular location. Not had time to be able to reach out to them, discuss further, or pass this information along to Verizon yet. I do not think that Verizon is here to answer any questions. But without having any coordination directly with the HOA, we'll leave it to the residents and Verizon to speak.
Well, we'll go ahead and, if you'd like to speak on behalf of your neighborhood or your home, feel free to come on up. All you have to do is step up to the microphone and state your name and address, and then tell us what your thoughts are about the placement of these towers.
Hello, good morning. Marietta Hamill, 10650 Sherborne Road. The house just across from the yellow marker, across the street and one up. And where you're seeing the yellow marker, that's the proposed new location. It used to be up where the other blue marker is. Looking at the yellow marker, right across the street to the north of it, where you see the little white line in the street, there's already a street pole there that our HOA pays a lease on. And I took a quick picture for you of how it looks if that yellow marker were moved south down that street where you see all the pretty trees sticking up on either side, on the pond side or the other side behind that house. That resident doesn't, anywhere in there, that resident to the right of your marker behind where the yellow marker is, they don't have any objection to moving it south. All the residents on the cul-de-sac, yes, anywhere down there, bring it down, anywhere in there along the pond side, either side. of the road. And if you keep going south, you hit 106th Street, which is all utilities along there. We don't have any objection moving it down there. But all the homes in that cul-de-sac, they all object to it being on that corner there because, you know, it's really out in the open and it's right in people's faces. And like I said, there's already a street light there. And our HOA could really use a light down towards the pond. And what I did was I took a picture from 106th Street. May I approach and
Sure,
give
absolutely,
someone
yeah.
to
Come on
pass
up.
it around? Am I allowed to come up?
Yeah, come on up.
Your Honor.
Yeah, I don't have a robe on. You can call me Scott.
That picture that I took for you, just from my cell phone and blew it up real quick this morning, is from 106th Street looking into the neighborhood. So past all those trees that you're seeing and towards the lights. So we already have this beautiful new street lamp at the entrance near 106th Street. There's two of them there together on our little center island right at the entrance at 106th Street. So this is looking down towards the light that's already there across the street from the yellow marker. So we don't need a double light on that corner across from a street light that's already there. But we really need it to the south, either on the pond side or the other side of the street, between that yellow marker and 106th Street. So here on behalf of all the residents around me, we're asking to move it to the south.
Thank you very much for that.
Right.
Is there anyone else that'd like to speak on this?
Okay,
Great.
thank you, Mayor.
Thank you. I think what you say makes a lot of sense. I'm not sure why they stopped right there at the corner versus going down another 50 or 100 feet.
No.
The trees? Yeah, it could be anywhere to the south.
Yeah.
So I agree with you, ma'am. It makes more sense to move it to the south. I don't know, Jason, having not been privy to any of those conversations, or I don't know why they wouldn't move it, because it is right smack dab in the front of your house, ma'am. And moving it 50 to 75 feet would make a world of difference, even if you can move it further for your neighborhood's purposes, but at the very least, to move it out of line of sight would be ideal.
No, I do not have any additional information. I apologize coming in at it kind of last minute, but we will definitely take the comment back. It goes in line with what the board has proposed previously on comments. We'll find out the information and we'll table.
Yeah, so ma'am,
maybe change.
what will happen now is we're gonna make a motion to table this, which means it won't get approved today, with a recommendation that Jason and his team go back to Verizon and ask them to move it 75 feet or however many feet away from your home. They'll have an opportunity to decide whether or not they want to do that. If they choose not to, then they can bring it back here. And also if they choose to move it, either way, it has to come back here for final approval. And you will be communicated with either way so that you know ahead of time what the plan is. So is there a motion to table with the direction to staff to have Verizon look to move it to the south?
So moved.
Moved by Jason, is there a second?
Second.
Second by Jeff, all in favor, please say aye. Aye. Motion carries. Next up, we have a request to approve residential waiver to install a small facility in RE Herald.
For the record, Jason Taylor, Director of Engineering. This one is the 5G cell structure in RE Herald, which if you're not familiar with that location, it's in our downtown along South Street, east of Lantern Road, so south of the Speedway gas station. There are two residents that this is not an HOA, so this is one we reached out directly to the residents and the businesses to make contact because there were a small number of them. We received two comments back that they had no concerns with any of the proposed location, so.
Do you want to, from a city perspective, did we want a light on this one?
No, because of any particular potential future improvements to South Street, we've made Verizon aware of that it could potentially be relocated because of roadway infrastructure or future development, whatever may come through that area.
Okay. Well, if there are no concerns by the residents nearby, is there a motion to approve?
Motion approved.
Motion by Jeff, is there a second?
Second.
Second by Jason, all in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Motion carries. Next, we'll move on to a request to approve residential waiver to install a small cell facility in Harrison Woods.
For the record, Jason Taylor, Director of Engineering. This one here before you is Harrison Woods. This was one that was previously tabled, in which Verizon made comments that they couldn't relocate to the proposed locations or locations that the HOA had requested, more in the common area. And so there before you is Verizon resubmitting the same locations.
So there's, just to clarify, is there a revision? Because I see a revised location on this.
we
Was that a
have-
previously revised location?
These are revised, but not to the request of the board
Okay,
and the HOA, that it would be to the common areas.
I see.
So,
Okay. So, is there anyone here from Harrison Thompson that would like to speak? Okay. I guess at this point, I'd open it up to the board for questions or concerns or thoughts regarding the revised locations as presented today.
So Chris, from our position, what can we can and can't do? After we asked Verizon to review, they basically rejected our concerns or comments.
Well, so a couple things. If you feel like you're unsatisfied, then our waiver standard within it has a couple things to consider. Number one, the preferred locations from this board as set out in the standard is to be at the intersections to the greatest extent possible, which these aren't. And number two, when considering each waiver, the board is to consider the general welfare of the community, including without limitation any input that you've received during these meetings. So if you feel like you're not satisfied with the response from Verizon, then I would tell you that you're within your realms to deny these locations.
It was my recollection that Verizon would come back with technical data that supported the required, their preferred locations with respect to pole interference and also transmission lengths, if you will, with respect to trees and such. Doesn't appear that Verizon is here to provide that data, which is troubling.
Is there a motion from the board?
I make a motion to reject both locations.
Is there a second?
Second.
Any additional discussion? Seeing none, is there a motion to deny the said permits?
Motion to deny the permits.
Well, I guess we already did make a motion, didn't we?
Yeah.
So all those in favor of denying the permits?
Aye.
Aye. Okay, so those permits are denied. And Mackenzie, can you make sure we send that information back out to the residents of Harrison Thompson that be concerned about that? We have one additional neighborhood, and this is a request to approve. We mow every Monday for 6 hours straight, just so you're aware. It's a good way to start the day. Request to approve residential waiver to install a small cell facility in Lantern Overlook. Jason.
it's Jason Taylor, Director of Engineering. For you is Lantern Overlook for the 5G cell structures. This was previously on the board in which it was tabled. It was before you can see in the map, it was in the middle of the neighborhood in the common area. In the staff report, you can also see that there were some proposed locations that were given with the, if you could go to the third exhibit, third picture. Go.
With the XYZ.
Yeah, there was actually a resident who emailed in late this morning or early this morning as well that really mimicked these locations in their proposed, and they may be here to speak on it. Okay, but Verizon stated that they were not able to accommodate moving the structure, and be.
So just to be clear, and I think it's for transparency's sake, at one point in the last few weeks, there was conversation of being able to move these to the exterior.
Yeah,
Is that correct?
There was an email that they came back and said that they can move outside of the neighborhood, and but for some reason, since I stepped out of it in the past week, from my understanding, now they're proposing the same location that was previously proposed. This is one that maybe we could, I would recommend we either table, and then we can go back and have a conversation with Verizon, or if the board wants to deny.
Where are we on the clock?
I don't know, I don't have the timeline on that clock
Okay.
for this one, but I think that if we are willing to work with Verizon, they would not
Well,
worry so much about the clock.
So I think in reality though, from that email, my understanding is that this is a conversation of not putting any towers in the neighborhood and just basically not providing the service to the neighborhood.
Yeah, they were gonna miss out
Moving
on
on.
some of the residents in that neighborhood.
Not to say they couldn't catch some of them if they were to put facilities along the road, Lantern Road, but they wouldn't I think they're admitting that they probably wouldn't be able to reach.
Yeah, I think the
back half of
back
the
half,
cul-de-sac.
they wouldn't be able to reach, but they were able to reach.
So I would think that in this particular case, if the board isn't comfortable with placing a tower, because we've been in this conversation of this neighborhood for a while. We explored moving it all the way to what would be the west, back in those woods. And that wasn't physically possible, if I recall correctly, because you'd still have to have something in the middle from a line of sight or trees or what have you. And so there really was no scenario there. And there was no scenario along that frontage where you weren't dropping a tower in front of someone's home along that way. So,
And Mayor, there was the gentleman that sent the email early this morning, he did additional research just for purposes I could make sure to forward along the email, but he took a drone, flew at 35 foot and did a video at the height of where the signal would be and felt that there wasn't any obstructions. So the locations that were shown in the exhibits here, the further one to the back as well as one further up, the tree foliage was not a concern of it.
Oh, with the height?
Yeah.
so my thought is to deny the tower, and then if they want to come back and propose something along Lantern Road or at the entrance of this, it would be it'd just be a separate permit at this point. I mean, I don't know that we need to table it again,
Yeah.
because I'm not going to be comfortable putting one in front of the home, so unless they're coming with that, I don't know what the point would be.
Mayor, I'm right with you, and I wish they were here because it seems like they're going back and forth on things, and I'd like to understand the justification and comments.
We'd be happy to work with them at the entrance, and I think the neighborhood probably wouldn't, in our conversations, they didn't have a problem working something along Lantern Road or something near the entrance. Seemed like a plausible scenario, but as you get into the neighborhood and you're in front of every home, it just doesn't work out. So I will make a motion to deny this permit request. Is there a second? Second by Jason. All those in favor, please say aye. Aye. Motion carries. So just for the residents here, so you're aware, this permit will not move forward. And then if they were to come forward again for whatever reason, you would be notified if you were within 200 feet of the residence.
Thank you.
Okay? Thanks, Jason.
Right, Chris, they can reapply, correct?
Yes.
All right, if there are no other agenda items,
Lantern Overlook, right? We just did that one.
we just did that one, yep.
Okay.
We will go ahead and ask for a motion to adjourn the meeting. Is there a motion?
Motion.
Motion by Jeff, is there a second?
Second.
Second by Jason, all in favor, please say aye. Aye. Meeting adjourned. Thanks, everyone, for taking time out of your morning to be here today.